well, we are back out and about. Today we're at Fort Abercrombie here in Kodiak, and it's just a historical military site. As you can see behind me, they had one of these huge guns that sat here on this point. I think it's called Miller Point, if I remember correctly. There's a lot of interesting history with Alaska in general, especially with military and being strategic, and even today, there's a lot of strategic things that Alaska is kind of important for. So, which I didn't know that. It's easy to think, while Alaska's so far away from the rest of the U.S., it's kind of off on its own. But there's some important things about it. But we just finished lunch, had a little picnic out here on the point, and just kind of goofing off, having a good time. There's a little museum that should be opening here in an hour or so about the fort here, and so we're gonna try to check it out here in just a bit, and hopefully it continues to. Actually, I'm not gonna say it, because if I say it, it won't happen. I don't want to jinx it. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. So we're headed up to the little museum right now. It's actually in an old bunker. Yeah, apparently there's a lot of pieces that are operational, like radios or stuff like that. So we're gonna go check this out real quick. All right, so we spent about an hour and a half in the museum. It's not a big museum at all, but we're the only two there. So we got the in-depth personal tour from the guy that takes care of the place. His name is, was it Joe? Yeah, his name is Joe, and super nice older gentleman. Like we probably could have stayed there another couple hours if we wanted to. But we've just kind of been hanging out around the point, kind of chilling by the ocean. And now we are looking at a couple of sites around here. One that we are coming up on right now is like a spotlight site, but this is where the searchlight was to watch for enemy ships or planes or anything like that. So there it is behind me. Was really interesting. One of the things he mentioned, and I probably wouldn't have thought of this, was you have your searchlight. The small bunker for the controls are that way, probably less than 100 yards, maybe 50 to 75 yards, if that. He mentioned on the tour that if your enemies are going to see your searchlight, so they're going to fire at it to try and take it out, and so you don't want your operator to be right there. So makes total sense. I'm glad I'm not the one that was coming up with these, how to run these things. But this overlooks the bay here, and just some beautiful views and enjoying God's creation. All right, so there was also another thing that I learned on this little tour thing, and that is that number one, Alaska has the northernmost point of the U.S. Big surprise, right? There's the point, Point Barrow. I think it's Point Barrow. He said, yeah, I think it's Point Barrow. Anyway, northernmost point of the U.S., United States. We also have the westernmost point. Also not really surprising. A lot of people probably think that Hawaii is the most western point of the U.S., but that is incorrect. If you look at Alaska, there's the arm that stretches out towards Russia. And those are called the Aleutian Islands, and one of those islands, I cannot remember which one it is the westernmost point in the U.S. What was really surprising is that we also have the easternmost point of the U.S. Now, bear with me for a moment. Check this out. There are I believe it was two islands that are on the other side of the 180th degree meridian. So if you remember from your geography and stuff, we've got the prime meridian, which is 0 degrees longitude over somewhere in Europe, and the 180th degree, so halfway around the world, the 180th degree longitude is between. There are two islands that are past the 180th degree. When you go past that is then considered the eastern hemisphere. Therefore, those two islands are the easternmost points of the U.S. technically. I did not know that. That was kind of interesting. Don't know why that's impressive, but it kind of is. Just facts for Alaska. Anyway, I think that's it for now. If I think of any other awesome things that I learned, I'll bring those up as well. Coffee time. So we are out at the harbor right now. We just got some coffee at Harborside Cafe. Nice little place. Typical white chocolate mocha is what I went with. It's not quite as good as the one that I get back home in North Pole, but that's okay. It's still good. So we are headed out. We're gonna go do a little bit of hiking. When we left the cabin, there's a place that's just maybe a half mile down the road, if that there's a lot of bear activity. And so sure enough, we stopped and saw a bunch of people looking and watching, and got the binoculars out, and there we saw a group of 4 and another group of 3. A mama and 3 cubs, and then a mama and 2 cubs. At least that's what we're pretty sure. We could tell. But yeah, so 7 bears in one setting. I don't know. They weren't like all together, but they were pretty close. So far, that brings our total up to 15 sightings. Possibly could be some of the same ones multiple times, but 15 sightings of bears. Like I said, we saw our very first one was on our way from the airport to the cabin, and it was crossing the road. It's been pretty cool. Last night we saw these that were just laying kind of just off the side of the road. It was pretty wild, but don't worry, we're being careful, not getting too close, not a big deal. But we are gonna go do some hiking and go enjoy the beautiful sunshine today. It is a wonderful day. We're expecting it to rain Wednesday and Thursday, I believe, but we'll see how it goes. So we're gonna try to get as much in as we can today and continue enjoying vacation. So yeah, I'm gonna finish my coffee and then we're gonna get going. And we're back. We had lunch just a little bit ago, pizza. It was all right. It's pretty good. But now we are at Boy Scout Lake Beach, Boy Scout Trail Beach or something. Basically, yeah, I mean, this is a nice little place. This is like a, white sandy beach. It was like a half mile or something like that walk, and it's very secluded. There's cliffs around, and yeah, it's just a nice little cove, kind of. Not even a cove. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying. There's a few people that you saw in the background, but not overly busy. We're kind of walking away from everybody, just chilling out. I really like the cliffs. It hugs right up against the cliffs, and yeah, it's beautiful out here. We have gotten so lucky so far with the weather, and I think it's going to rain probably the next couple of days, but so far it's been beautiful. Couldn't ask for better. We're currently walking through the haunted forest of Kodiak. We're just headed back up to the car from the beach, and yeah, it's amazing. You think of Alaska and you think mountains, you think snow, of course, you think Denali. Even for us being up in North Pole, it's like not tundra, but close enough. It's a little flatter, but here it is so green and so lush. It's like rainforest in a lot of places, and it reminds me of Juneau from last year. You get further south like this, the weather is a little bit more mild. But we stopped in a gift shop to get a few things, and the lady in there, we got to talking about the differences between here and North Pole. She kind of mentioned that if it gets anything above 60 here is a pretty warm day, which is amazing because North Pole will get up into the 80s during the summer very often. But that's just the difference between being a coastal town like this and us up in the interior. We definitely have the widest range of temperatures, of weather, a lot more extreme than a lot of other places in Alaska. I think we're going to go for a little bit of a drive this evening before dinner, and because we're tired of walking. It's been a lot of walking today, so we're going to take a break on that. Yeah, that's probably going to be it for today, but we will check back in tomorrow.